Auburn baseball takes 2 out of 3 from Kentucky. Let's talk about it. What is up, Auburn family? What is up tempo gang? How are we doing on this Sunday night? A little bit of March Madness late. The Ole Miss Rebels look to be moving on to the Sweet 16 for the first time since 2001 and sending home the Iowa State Cyclones, who were in our quadrant, and that's a really big upset. So, some good games going on right now. Michigan State and New Mexico. That's another big one that is in the potential layout for the Auburn Tigers. So keep your eyes on that one. It's getting late in the second half, and New Mexico is up 39-37. But tonight we're here to talk a little Auburn baseball, and I couldn't be more proud of this baseball team. 4-2 in SEC play so far. Have won both SEC series, 2 games to 1. Last week, the dramatic finish with Vanderbilt, and then this week going on the road against the Kentucky Wildcats, and just a weird series. Everything that happened in Game 3, and your basketball team playing in Lexington and being up there, and the umpiring crew. Everything that happened was just weird this weekend. Um, I was really upset with how things played out, honestly, and it really got to me today with everything that happened. And then, one thing I'll say is the broadcast. You're not going to hear me a whole lot talk about things like this, but I just felt like those two guys were not professional at all. They did not do their job the right way. When I watch a broadcast, I don't care if you're the radio network of whoever, of Texas, and we're playing the Longhorns in a 3-game series. You don't sit in the booth and constantly talk about how Texas should win the game, and how they need to do this or they need to execute here. Or maybe they should lay down a bunt here, and all. That's not how it should be done. These guys are told, hey, you're going to be on SEC Network. You have to call the game. I would never see Brad Law going into that kind of setting and just being so biased towards Auburn while being on SEC Network, because I think he's more professional than that. And the little comment after game 2 is, Kentucky, they dropped both of these first 2 games, but they should feel like they should have won both of the games. Stuff like that. Those little comments to me are just stuff that you shouldn't say. Being on the SEC Network broadcast, and I know you're Kentucky homer and all that, but it was just very unprofessional in my opinion. So it was a weird weekend having to listen to that, and then seeing how uh, the crew just absolutely botched multiple things the entire weekend. But I'm glad we got the first 2, right? Games 1 and games 2. Those were big time wins, and I can't really say enough about this Auburn baseball team. When last week I made a comparison between 2024 and 2025, and my thing with 2024 is, look, I love those guys, right? I follow them on social media, I DM them, and stuff, and I try to show as much love as possible because they played for Auburn, so. My thing with the 2025 team is they don't quit, y'all. They don't quit. They don't ever give up, regardless of the score, regardless of whatever situation. I think you saw that Saturday. No matter what adversity they face, they're not going to roll over and quit. And the 2024 team would roll over and quit. They would not try to fight back. Um, and I don't know if that was a clubhouse situation or what. If guys were complaining about playing time, were they not as close of a team, whatever. But the 2025 team is not built like that, in my opinion. And let's start with game one. I think this was a massive game for Auburn, especially with the schedule that you have upcoming in SEC play. I think it was a must win game for Auburn. If you want to look at postseason picture and possibly getting a 2 seed, or right now, that the trajectory that we're going, I know it's still early, but shoot, you're 4-2 and you've won 2 series, and you're really excited about your team. You could possibly, talk about hosting, maybe if you keep it up and the later we get into the season. But it was a really big game for Auburn, right? So you go in, you're ranked, you're on the road. Sam Dutton, got to give you another top notch performance, right? And Sam Dutton, he got hit. And everybody was like, oh, well, Auburn's pitching isn't doing us any favors tonight. Oh, we knew that Kentucky was going to hit the baseball. That's what they do. They hit. And they do a really good job at it. They hit, they put motion on the pads. They like to play a little small ball here and there, and they hit some more. And Sam Dutton just made a couple mistakes, and he got hit a little bit, and Auburn found themselves in a battle. And it was a back and forth game. And my big thing is people were saying, well, how far can Sam Dutton get us? And I put in the up tempo group the other night, he's got to get us to that fifth inning, man. If he can get through that fifth inning, Sam Dutton did his job. If Auburn is in contention in the fifth inning and you get to your bullpen, Sam Dutton has done his job. And he did that. He did that. He allowed the Auburn bullpen to come in and do what they needed to do. And that was big time. Even though he was getting hit, he still bowed his neck and he went out. He went out on top. He battled. He made big pitches. That's what a Friday night guy's got to do. That's what a Friday night guy's got to do. Uh, one of my bigger guys this weekend that I really wanted to talk about, and he started Friday night, and it's Lucas Steele. Lucas Steele's been in that DH spot, and he's been hammering baseballs. He had a big game Friday night, had a bomb. Just no complaints out of the guy. Transferred over from Sanford. I feel like we need to stay at Sanford and keep getting transfers because they've worked out really well. But Lucas Steele comes in and he swings it and he doesn't get cheated. He's selective at the plate, and he's been a hell of a player for Auburn right now. So, Auburn goes down a run, right? And you're in the ninth and you're trying to find a way to get a guy on. And Kentucky, they play the switch on Coop, right? Cooper McMurray comes up and they play the shift and they leave the entire left side wide open. And Coop just does a fabulous job. I mean, incredible job of just not trying to do too much, not trying to be a hero. This is another thing with the 2025 team. You're not trying to be a hero. You're not trying to one swing tie it up. All right. You're not thinking about yourself in this situation. You're being a team guy. And you're saying, okay, if you're going to give me that, I'm going to sit back and punch one over there. You see Auburn trying to lay down bunts and things like that when they do it. People are like, why is Chase Fralick squaring the bunt? Well, they're playing the shift on him. And he's saying, well, if I can square and lay one down right here, it's a base hit. It's a base hit. And Coop did that. Coop found a way on. You get a guy on, and then you say, hey, let's pinch run for Coop. Because what we do here, what Butch is thinking is, Butch says, okay, I can pinch run Bristol Carter for Coop. We need a run. Let me get Bristol Carter on first base. Then, if a ball's hitting the gap, Bristol can score from first, right? Bristol can score from first. You got Chase Fralick at the plate. And if Chase Fralick bows up on one, Bristol can score. And it's a tie game. Coop cannot score. So the biggest play of the game, in my opinion, was Bristol's steal of second. When he stole that bag, I was like, wow, wow. In that situation, wow. That little delayed steal, he had the pitcher in absolute shambles. Incredible stuff. Like really, really savvy, smart baseball play right there from Bristol Carter. And that got you the run in scoring position, right? There's one out. Chase Frelick comes up and he slaps one, 2 strikes. He said he was looking for a breaking ball. They throw it. He makes solid contact, hits a line drive out to left. Their left fielder comes in. He's scrambling. He lays out. He can't get to it, right? Chase gets on 2B, tie ball game. This is where it gets funny. And there had been some chirping back and forth Friday night, and both teams were, a little feisty, and they were both chirping. And, well, Ike Irish comes up. What better guy do you want at the plate? Well, he gets fisted and pops one up to shortstop, and we're Cole Edwards pinch runs, and he's coming around, and they drop the ball at short. I don't know why he tried to catch it around his hip. I guess he was trying to put a little mustard on the hot dog. My coach always used to say, you never catch you don't catch balls like that until you start getting paid. All right. And back then, college athletes weren't paid, but he always used to say, you don't catch it like that until you're making millions and getting paid. And I don't know why he let the ball get so deep, but he did, right? And he dropped it. And that's why you always run it out. That's why you always hustle, because you never know. Baseball is a weird game and things like that happen. So Auburn goes up. Ryan Helsler comes in, and he absolutely just shoved. He closed the door. And that is something that the 2025 team does. When they see an opportunity, they take it. And it's been amazing to watch. I think just the grit and the way this team goes about themselves and the way they carry themselves is just different. And that's what I've loved watching these first 2 SEC series. And so the Auburn Tigers, they win the Friday night game. And Saturday, you come into game 2, and everybody's talking about what? Everybody's talking about the baseball team going and watching the basketball team. And everybody's hyped up about Auburn basketball, which they should be, number 1 overall seed in the tournament. And you got a job to do still, right? And what better guy to have the best performance of his season, and a guy that you absolutely need to get hot in SEC play? And that's Mr. Ike Irish. I see over in the comments about Ike. Ike had 5 hits, and he had a massive bomb in the 9th. We'll talk about that. And then he had another massive one, right, later on. But you needed him to get hot and start seeing it, because you felt like he was getting fooled a little bit. You felt like he was just off at the plate. He just wasn't himself, right? He wasn't himself. And it was nice seeing him have that 5-hit day and really start feeling himself. And I thought he had a great series. And that's just a guy that you need to lead your team. He is Auburn baseball right now. He's the face of Auburn baseball. So game 2, Cade Fisher gets the nod again. I like that Tiford and Butch are not giving up on Cade. They want to continue to see him try to work through his struggles and be that Saturday guy for Auburn. And he ran into a little trouble. Once again, he looked crisp. But the thing with Cade was, can he get through 3 innings? Can he make that step? Can he take it? And like I said, he ran into a little trouble, but we needed Cade to give us. Oh, wow. Oh, that was from earlier. Okay. That was Arizona and Oregon. Excuse me. But we needed Cade to get us, further into the game, so we didn't have to use our bullpen and keep, bringing guys out and everything like that. Because if you lose game 2, then you need that game 3. You got Chatterton going, a freshman, and all that. Like, you need the arms. Well, Cade got us through 4 innings, right? And I thought that was a really, really big deal. Is you didn't have to go to him as early, right? You get to the 5th inning, then you get to your bullpen, and you're set up a little bit better, right? You're set up much more where you can maneuver that game through game 3 if you do lose game 2. So Auburn carries a 7-3 lead into the 9th, and this is where I was really upset with the crew, man. Like uh, that umpiring crew was very, very, very wishy washy. I felt like they were in their feelings a little bit, and it was just a tough watch, y'all. It was a tough watch, in my opinion. I don't know if they wanted to make it about them or what, but look, Kentucky get some guys on. Did we help blowing this 4-run lead? Yes, we did. But did Bub Terrell catch that ball? Yes, he did. And I just feel like when you go to review and you have that clear of a shot of glove on top of turf, ball inside of glove, that is a catch. That is a catch. And it was on 4K, 1080p. I don't know what else we're looking at here. You even slow it down and you freeze frame it. And it's right there. That is a catch. Another reason why I thought it was a catch is because when Bub Terrell got up, he started celebrating. And then him and Cade kind of looked at each other, and Cade was like, throw it in, throw it in. They're saying it's safe. It was just really weird to me. And Birmingham got us, right? And it just, I don't know. It was really weird how Kentucky just played the series this weekend. I thought, I didn't think they played baseball like that. They were kind of bush league in my opinion. But it is what it is. Some coaches like it, some coaches don't. Whatever. But for you to make that call, it didn't sit well with me at all, y'all. Like I was pissed, and when I start getting pissed, I get a little heated on Twitter, and I start calling people out, man, because I'm just like, where did you come up with that call? You can see it clear as day. If Bub Terrell would have dropped that ball, he would have immediately got up and thrown the baseball in. He would have immediately got up and been like, hey, all right, I need to get this in. It was a catch. But somehow you come to the conclusion of it not being a catch. But then you put Auburn into this situation where its bases loaded, 1 out in the 9th, and now it's a 7-7 game. And Alvarez is on the bump. Thank goodness he gets a pop up to third base. And then Parker Carlson comes in and gets the ground ball. And we survive. That was in the 10th, excuse me. That was in the 10th. Fabian made the play in the 9th. But it was aggravating, man. Like you tried to put Auburn in this situation where I haven't seen an ump show like this. And thank goodness for the 10th, our defense steps up. Parker Carlson, shout out from Mobile, Alabama, Faith Academy guy. That was big time. Way to nut up. Another thing the 2024 team would not have done. And then you go into the 11th, and thank you for Ike Irish. So glad that he's an Auburn Tiger. He hits a bomb. Not really sure why you contested Ike middle in like that, but you did, and he made you pay. And he knew it as soon as he hit it. and you come out and you close the 11th and you win the game. You win the series, and then you go watch your basketball team play in Lexington. I thought that was awesome. Even after all of that bull crap that you had to put up with, and then basically trying to gift wrap Kentucky a dub. That's the way I took it. That's why I was pissed off. It's because I felt like they were trying to take it from us. I felt like they were trying to take it from us, from them reviewing every little hit by pitch and them, Kentucky guys saying, "Oh, I was hit by the pitch and it wasn't even close," and all this stuff. I just felt it like it was Bush League. I did. I truly did. But we won the series. So we go watch the basketball team play, and then in the middle of all this, it's, we moved game 3 to 10 a.m. Great, right? 10 a.m. Why is the game getting moved to 10 a.m.? Well, it's supposed to flood in Lexington all day. So we wake up and we play a 10 a.m. baseball game for game 3. We've already won the series, and I don't have much to say on game 3, except Chatterton has had back-to-back rough outings in SEC play. I think we got to clean that up maybe. We'll see this weekend, like, how he performs. Maybe somebody else might get a shot. I don't know. I think you still stick with Chatterton. I'm not saying you pull him just yet, but we got to clean it up. And it was just a weird day. 10 a.m. You've won the series. I felt like you were just trying to get out of there, and you didn't hit well. You probably stayed out a little bit late for the basketball team and all that good stuff. And you just took one on the chin. You got 2 hits all day. Not really much you can do with 2 hits. Not really a whole lot you can do with 2 hits. And you come away with a win in the series. Like, that was game 3 for me. I'm not going to say I didn't care about it, because I would love to be 5-1 instead of 4-2 in SEC play. But I care about series wins. And at the end of the day, that is really what, when they sit down to put teams in the tournament, the selection committee, is you look at series wins. All right, that's the reason Old Dominion, when we dropped the game, we were like, hey, we got to win the series. Holy Cross, we got to win the series. Because you don't want to lose those series, because then they're going to look back at that and be like, man, they lost the series. They lost the series to Holy Cross. All right. You dropped a game. It's baseball. It happens. You just don't want to lose the series. So, game 3 was super weird. I am glad that Chase Fralick got a day off. Oh, boy, my camera. Let's focus back in here, kid. I am glad Chase Fralick got a day off. I am glad about that. I'm glad that Kel Strickland got a day to catch and get some ABs and things like that. Ike out in right field. It was just a day. It was just a day, a weird day. But that was it for me for Kentucky. I want to get over here to some of these comments. Ephesians chapter 2, verse 8 and 9 says, Bub Terrell caught the ball. I'll say it till I die. 100% he did. I just felt like it was 1080p right there. They had it on. They had it on camera. I feel like today's game was a result of how many pitchers they used in the first 2 games. That's probably true too. There was a couple guys. I'll go back and look. Like, I feel like guys like Hayden Murphy and things like that are doing really good jobs. And there's a couple of other guys that, I really want to highlight out. I'll do a member pod and we'll talk about those guys. But I just felt like it was a weird day, man. 10 a.m. is really hard to get up for a baseball game. It's really difficult. Really, really difficult. Now, I feel like Kentucky had to get up for it because they needed it. War Damn Eagle, by the way, umps elections for Row the Boat was over the top. Great. Hey, Auburn Dad, thank you so much for bringing this up. Whatever the hell that was about ejecting these kids and a manager or whatever for rowing the boat. Okay, so if you're going to do this on a Sunday, then you have to start it on a Friday. You can't, as an umpiring crew, you can't just come into Sunday and start ejecting people for talking shit. I'm sorry. You can't. You got to do it on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday if you're going to do it, because both teams were chirping all weekend long. The vibes were high. So you can't just come in on a Sunday and say, "Oh yeah, Auburn, you out of here for rowing a boat." Come on, man. It was super soft. Get out of here. That stuff right there is why people are turned off from baseball. Because these kids are trying to bring a little electricity to the game, and you immediately put your foot on their throat and you say, "No, cut it out. I'm done." Stupid. Absolutely stupid, man. Guess what? We don't buy tickets to come watch you. All right? We don't. We buy the tickets to come watch the kids play the game, man. Both Ike Irish bombs in game 2 was as clutch as can be, and it's why that dude has big money waiting on him in the league. 100%. 100%. I said this when he was a freshman, y'all. He reminds me, his swagger at the plate reminds me so much of Juan Soto. It's not even funny. And I hate comparing college kids to pros and all that stuff, but his knowledge of hitters' counts and what pitch is coming next, what he can do with that pitch, uh, the way he hits line to line and gap to gap, and he can hit with power now. Remember his freshman year, he had a really hard time elevating the ball. Then you saw last year it got a little bit better. We just sucked. And then this year, he's really starting to find himself now. He started out really slow, but he's starting to really find himself. And I think that's crucial for Auburn baseball. I'll be honest, I don't love AU pitching, but I think it's serviceable this season. It's serviceable. It is. It's a lot better than last year, I can tell you that. It really comes down to the walks and hit batters 100%. That's another thing, is we got to stop hitting so many guys, man. We hit way too many guys, and then you watch, like, you look at the counts that we hit them in. It's like 0-2 and things like that. Like, we have to stop that. I know you're trying to contest a guy inside with a fastball, but man, you have to locate better than that. You cannot be 0-2 and hit a guy. Just can't happen. I don't care what sport. Why aren't refs and umps held accountable when they make such bad calls that can and have cost games? Auburn Dad, I've said that multiple times, man. Like, I feel like these dudes should have to go to the podium and answer questions. I feel like these dudes should have to go and speak up. Like, how did you come to the conclusion of Bub Terrell dropping that ball? Because we got screenshots all over of where he caught the ball. So, I don't. Strange to me. Serious question here, Blake. Does AU get the keys to the city of Lexington? Football dub, basketball 3 dubs, and the series win in baseball. We took possession of the city 100%. After so many struggles and failures in Lexington, Kentucky, Auburn goes up there and finally has success. And one thing I do want to shout out for Auburn is the constant backing of the athletic programs from coach to coach to coach, just being with one another and supporting one another. And Butch Thompson, that was really big for me this weekend, was Butch Thompson really looked at this series and he said, win, lose, or draw, after game 2, we're going to support our basketball team. That was big to me, because all of these coaches are in each corner, man. They're in every guy's corner. Hugh, Butch, Bruce, hopefully the new women's basketball hire. I think from what I've heard, he's a stand-up guy. But I love that about Bruce. About Butch, excuse me. He said, win, lose, or draw, we're going to support those dudes. And they did. After one of the most craziest, dramatic wins we could have all year. 2 wins, to be honest, Friday and Saturday. You go and support your basketball team, and the kids were having a blast. I think that's awesome. I really do. I love the support. Let's see here. Too late for me. You're good, Auburn Dad. I knew what you were getting at, man. I really did. Um, y'all, I can't say enough about I can't say enough about the basketball team and the baseball team in Lexington this weekend. Um, it was fun. It was fun, with how bad football's been the past couple of years, and kind of really hard for me because I'm 34 years old, and really I've never really seen Auburn be this bad at football, right? And so it's been really difficult for me, um, because in my lifetime, Auburn, it was always a powerhouse, and it's kind of sucked. It's been Debbie Downer type energy, and we're good at basketball, and we've gotten to go to Omaha twice in the Butch Thompson era, and that's something for me in the way I love Auburn baseball. And people always ask me, like, "Man, you're just so passionate about Auburn baseball." I'm like, "Yeah, dude, I love it. Like, it's Auburn, right? Like, I'm not one of these guys where I'm an Auburn football fan and a Michigan State basketball fan. It's just not me. I'm a ride or die Auburn. I want Auburn to win at everything, and I'm very passionate about the game of baseball, and I'm passionate about Auburn baseball. And watching Butch Thompson take us to the College World Series twice in his tenure here, uh, I think he's one of the goats, man. Like, for where we were at as a program, we sucked. We sucked. We were awful. We were terrible. We were laughing stock. I remember going to games before Butch got there, in the sunny days, and I was just like, dude, this is garbage. Like, we're never gonna grow. We're never gonna jump up and compete in the SEC, and it sucked. Like, we had a couple good years here and there, and now look at our stadium. Look at our ball field, man. It's elite. The renovations are crazy nice. If you haven't been to Plainsman, that ballpark, I am telling you, those renovations, like the Hall of Fame Club and all that, is elite. It is so nice. TVs everywhere, all that stuff, man. It's incredible. War Eagle Wall, all that. It's so much nicer than what it was. And Butch is the guy, man. He did it. That's the reason last year when people were calling for his job, I was like, what are we doing? Like, why? We're just having a bad year. If you guys remember a couple years ago, Dave Van Horn at Arkansas, they went 7-23. They went 7-23. And then the very next year, guess what? They went to the College World Series finals. And they lost. They choked. They choked. But they went right back to the College World Series, man. And so, just people calling for Butch's job and things like that, it was really uneasy for me. I didn't like it. Yeah, we need something to go our way. That's a fact. That is a fact. So you are not like almost every Bama fan. That's why we love you, bro. I appreciate it. No, I do not. I do not do that. Look, you might see me if, like, Auburn gets eliminated. You might see me, like, if, just say, Florida and Duke were to make it to the national championship, you might see me pull for Florida and be like, hey, my boy, one of my best boys, DG, he's a diehard Florida fan, and I'd probably want to see Florida beat Duke. And it was kind of like a couple years ago, Florida and LSU were playing in the College World Series final, and you're like, who do you root for? And I wanted to see LSU win that. And once again, my buddy DG was like, why are you rooting for LSU? And I was like, I'm pulling for LSU because I think they're the mega of college baseball. I think that they are the all-time greatest program in college baseball history. And I love the tradition of LSU baseball. You got Alex Box and all that stuff. You got the great players that have come through there. You have the memorable 90s run that they had, and the great moments there, and the walk off, and all the way back at Rosenblatt and things like that. Like, it's just a lot of history with LSU baseball. So you might see me do things like that, but as far as like night in, night out, no, I'm all Auburn, and it'll never change. That's totally different though. I work with a guy who is an LSU football fan and a Kansas basketball. I don't no, uh, no, no, no. I can't do it, man. I can't. It just don't work like that for me. That's not how. One, I think it goes like this. My dad wasn't like that, so I wasn't gonna be like that. Like, um, you know, my dad wasn't pulling for Duke and basketball and all that stuff. He watched Auburn go 13-18 a lot of times, and not be very good. And so that's how it was around the house. So, but look, hey, thank y'all for joining me. I know it was a little later at night. I finally got a little free time before I got to go hit the hay and get ready for work tomorrow. But thank y'all for joining me. The Auburn Tigers are hot, man. 4-2 in SEC play, the 20th ranked team in the country. I'm sure that'll change this week. Can't wait for the D1 baseball polls to come out tomorrow to see where we climb up to. I'm excited about the rest of this year. There's some good games that we got coming ahead, some tough games on the schedule in SEC play. But we're hot, and that's what matters. And we're 4-2. And remember, we only won 7 of these bad boys last year. So things are looking up, y'all. Things are looking up. I appreciate y'all. War Damn Eagle. I'll catch y'all on the next one. I'm out.